This presentation will concern how to apply advanced metal creator and to optimize it on things like armor and robots. Okay, because robots are very similar to armors, since robots are just an armor without anybody inside. So I have chosen this specific armor first because I find it beautiful, okay, and then because it presents a lot of features such as displacement on it, and such here as opacity on it, and I wanted to show you how to work, how to take the best of it in case of opacity and displacement. So first thing I'm going to do is make a first render to see the effects of displacement. You see, you have all these nice highlights, and you see that the patterns are raising out of the surface. And that's what we will want to obtain. And well, this armor has been made to be rendered with an environment around. That's why if I render it with only 4 lights, it will look very, very dark. Now this armor renders beautifully when there are elements around it. So for instance, I won't load a full scene, but I want to show you how beautiful it is when there is something around. So maybe we can choose one of these maps. Actually, it's not a map; it's dome made by dimension theory, and they are. You know, this one is nice. For instance, it has a particularity, which is that if you hit phantom here, if you press phantom, then you see phantom on. It means that you won't see your environment, but yet you will see the reflection of your environment on your armor. So I kept these settings and make a render, and now you see how beautiful reflections there are on this armor. Okay, you see the reflection of the sky here, and of the floor, of the trees, and this is a really beautiful. Maybe I lack a little bit of light here, but it's really beautiful. Now I'm going to remove the light dome, and I want to apply on all my elements. So I'm going to select all my elements, and on all my surfaces of them. Okay, I select all my surfaces. I want to select one of the shader applier, which will allow you to manage a little bit more the highlight shapes and the reflection maps and ray trace contributions. So for this I have selected all my surfaces, and since I want to keep my maps, I apply Metal 2 here, because I prefer Metal 2 for this case of figure, because I feel like making something with very bright and with strong highlights. So let's go for Metal 2. Okay, and now you see it has loaded everything. The thing that I don't know if there was a specular map, but just these metals remove voluntarily the specular maps, because generally the specular maps included are not compatible, are not optimized for the shapes and the settings of the speculars that I have in the shaders. So this removed the specular maps. Generally, the specular maps included are really too dark, okay? Now I make a render, and you are going to be very deceived, because it's so flat and with these large highlights. Of course, it's because it's the base load. So what you have to know is that when you have displacements, okay, I have several types of displacements in displacements. I have the MR displacement for material-related displacement. By default, a map is loaded. It is a patch map. What is a patch map? It's a pure gray map, and it's loaded here. Why? It's because if you put no map here, first the texture-related displacement won't work, and then you will have an offset. You will have an offset on your surfaces, whatever happens. So that's not what you want. So by default there is a map, and you have to keep a map here, whatever happens. Okay, you can put the strength at 0. It doesn't matter. It won't make a lot of difference. And you have a second displacement, which is the texture related displacement, which means that if you have, for instance, let's say rust or holes or scratches shown on your diffuse, ambient and specular maps, you would like to have to see them raise up the surface or going down in the surface visually, add a real defect, a real deformation linked to that. So this is the texture related displacement. And you have the OPD displacement. I have gathered everything relative to OPD displacement in offset patterns, okay? So that if you don't want to customize the other settings, you just have to go there in the subfolder offset patterns. And offset patterns takes the displacement map, which is usually used as your displacement, okay? Well, it's in order to raise patterns out of the surfaces. Okay, here the strength is 100%. So it should work, you're going to tell me. But no, it doesn't work because of this. And this is something that I really want people to see, otherwise they will never have any displacement working. It's when you're using a map with patterns on it, and when you place a map here, if you want it to work, you have to push this at 1. So why is it 0 by default? It's because if you don't put 0 by default, when you have no map here, what's going to happen is that your surfaces are going to have an offset, whatever happens, okay? And this you don't want. So now I have set my strength here at 1. I have to set it everywhere at 1, sorry. So I'm going to select everything. Okay, and I go in the displacement. So when you want to work on this, just write OPD and you will have all your offset pattern displacement, okay? You will see all of them at once. So I'm going to take a 100% strength. Okay, with strength on the map, with a 1 global strength. Okay, here the limits are too low. Obviously, these are very, very small displacements. I think it may be to the way the appliers load. If it's the case, I may patch it to have stronger variations. I don't know. I'm gonna set OPD min at 0 and OPD max at 1. Okay, and now I can render again. And now I have all the displacements that I want to have, okay? I see the patterns. Maybe 1 is too much, I don't know. I'm gonna have a look on another angle of view. No, this is, oh, okay. This is maybe a little bit too much. So let's take something smaller. O.5. Proceed by dichotomy, and O.5, okay, it looks better. So this is the base thing. When you have your opacity applied, you have your displacement applied, and now the job is to work, let's say, first on the highlights repartition on your armor. Let's save it. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is to shape the highlights. Let's work on everything at once. So take all the surfaces, and if it's easier if you take only one of them, because you can browse here very fast. Okay, if you select one of them, you have to go and type there in order to clean up a little bit the interface. Okay, I don't want to force my specular output, which is the case, but my specular strength is obviously really too strong, okay? And I want something maybe a little bit warm. Why not warm? Okay, and I remember that with the shader 2, in order to see warm highlight, it's going to be generally very warm, okay? And now I can shape the highlights. For that, I want to know if they are large or not. Okay, here it's 0.3. I can increase it a little bit. I want to keep first thing isotropic, so I increase both of them simultaneously and try to keep the same value. Now I can make a small render. Okay, so I have warmer highlights, and I have warmer highlights, and what else? And they are more diffuse. So maybe. I'm gonna have a look on another angle. It's just 4 lights, okay? Okay, so maybe they are just a little bit too diffuse. So I reduce this. It's very sensitive as a parameter. I take the half of my variation that I did before, and I want to maybe increase a little bit the strength, okay? And okay, this is much more what I'd like to have. So I'm gonna keep these settings for the specular. I'd like to change a little bit the look of the armor, because it's too the way I set it up. It's too homogeneous. Okay, homogeneous as in terms of color all around the armor. So one tip that I could give you is create a sphere. And look at the presets that you like. You'd like it to be less homogeneous, so you can add some various patterns. The one that I'd like to try is maybe this one or this one. I'm gonna try this one here. So I take the sphere and apply on the sphere, and on the sphere I have a look at the different parameters. There is an ambient color, a diffuse color, and I'd like to take my diffuse map or my ambient map. I have a doubt. My diffuse map, and I'm going to apply my diffuse map on all the ambient parameters here. So let's select once again everything and every surface, and as an ambient color, I'm gonna take A. It's preset 15, sorry, and I take A for ambient. Now I raise the ambient. I'm going to lower the diffuse, okay, so that it's seen better, and just maybe increase it a little bit and have a test with it. Okay, to see how much it is visible. It's not visible enough. So I'm gonna have a look at what's in the diffuse color. Okay, the diffuse helps producing highlights, you see, because it is clearer where the surface offsets. I can remove the diffuse, or what if I remove the diffuse? I'd like to have 0 diffuse to see what I can obtain only with ambient. For this, I make a very strong ambient everywhere. A very strong ambient, and completely remove the diffuse to see what's the area of variation that I have. Okay, this is what's happening when I'm 100% ambient and no diffuse at all. From closer, you begin to see these dirts, yes, on the armor. So maybe the tile is not exactly the tile that I'd like to have. I could reduce the tile of it, and I'm gonna try to place them. Okay, I'm not satisfied. I think they are not contrasted enough, so I'm going to place them in the diffuse with the diffuse value. Okay, this time it is something very important, but pretty dark. Okay, it's just trying. Okay, this time it's obvious that it's much more visible. So I have the kind of dirt that I'd like to add. I'm gonna have a look at if I change the tile of it, I can do something more interesting. So this is the general tiles that matters this time, and not out of 5 maybe should be enough. I reduced the tile of it, you see, it's visible there. I should have taken this one and this one too. I go in this one and this one. I hit tile, okay, and 0.5 and 0.5. Okay, and now let's have a look at okay, this it is more dirty dirty armor. Okay, and I can keep this one and readjust the diffuse strength and so on, or I can try another one. For this, I just go on my sphere so that it's just in order to have my maps loaded loaded in there, and so that I can browse more easily to them. So I wanted to test also this one maybe, so I'm gonna load this one. Okay, I have a look, and the name is preset 13. Okay, so now I select all of them, and all of them there, and now have a look at preset 13. So here I'm gonna load diffuse, and here I'm gonna load the diffuse 2 of preset 13, just to see what kind of result I have. And for this one, a preset at 1 should be tile at 1 should be a tile at 1, sorry, should be better. 1 and 1. Okay, and let's have a look at 2, what it could give. 2 and 2. Okay, 1.5. We are going to okay, maybe 1.5. Yes. Okay, so render this with no these other kinds of dirts on it. And okay, I prefer this one rather than the other one because it's less contrasted, it's less obvious, but you begin to see these little dirts. Okay, now we can confirm that we want this 13 preset on it. And what's interesting, it's in the specular color, we are going to add the corresponding specular, okay, specular map. Oh, maybe we can try the ambient one. Having a look at what it can give. Do you have something more contrasted? If I try the diffuse with a white color, maybe it could give interesting things. Because a lot of power is included in the specular actually. Okay, the diffuse darkens too much the specular. Maybe I'm gonna go for the ambient. Oh, just the specular. That's what it was made for finally. But I want something a little bit more warm. Okay, let's have a look now. Comparing the rest of the surface. You see, this is less uniform. Okay, this is less uniform. Okay, and the contrast of it can be, the contrast of them can be still improved. For instance, no, it's in the diffuse. I can increase a little bit the diffuse, and you see immediately. Oh, it is not obvious on this one because I'm too dark here. If I increase the diffuse and decrease a bit the ambient, I will have something more contrasted, more milky. I don't know the name, but you see better the dirts. I want to keep anyway this parameter. So what I'm gonna do to get this surface back, copy and paste. I think all the maps are shared. I hope. Let's have a look. I have not lost my walls. Okay, so this is okay. So it was to explain rapidly what happens if you want to load only some of the features of the surfaces and place them on this armor. Sorry, I begin to be tired. Go. go for the rest. And what if now we try this one? This one is preset 12. This one I really like. It's one of my favorites. Let's go for the Diffuse too. I should have maybe taken the Ambient. This one is my favorite. Copy this one. Copy selected and passed to selected. Okay, and now we're going to change the tile of it. So horizontal tiles. For this one is so the displacement has been disconnected from the tile in order to be able to choose. Okay, maybe the UV map is not okay for the application that I'd like to have. Sorry, not the normal. Can I have the offset maybe? Just have a look at the offset. What I could do with the offset. With the offset I can work better in terms of vertical offsets. Maybe this one, and I'm gonna change the offset too. Okay, vertical. Okay, and I came back to the tiles. Okay, here. This way. Okay, I'm just trying to place nice patterns on the armor. Okay, let's have a look just like that. The specular map is not the right one. But okay, now you have something with a large rust spots on it, and if you want to increase the contrast of them, I should have taken also the displacements. Sorry, I'm gonna work more clean. I'm going in the MR displacement and the texture related displacement. Sorry, texture related displacement texture related displacement strength, and I'm going to load the map corresponding to the displacement preset. Not this one. It was in the material related disp 2. Okay, I'm going to load the corresponding presets, and this rely on the same tile as the diffuse. So we should see something now, and maybe I've added a lot. Maybe I've added too much of it. Oh, much too much of it. Okay, I'm going to focus on it. This is the map. This has the same tiles, and I'm on the 3 of them. I'm gonna have a look because it seems that I don't take the right patterns, or I'm really too strong. 6%. Okay, it's something which has to be okay. It's something which has to be really small as displacements. I didn't remember that. So now your texture is enhanced by some displacement on these patterns, and this is really too much anyway. So I'm going to decrease it to 2%. I could have reduced the texture related contribution, yes, because I'm on a black map. I'm on a gray map at the beginning, and I think I want also to have a look at the way it reflects light. Okay, I have to take AMC 12 bump as the strength of the reflection, because I don't want the rusty part to reflect the environment. It would be stupid. Rust does not reflect, not as much as clean metal. So I'm going in the reflection maps, and I'm going to take I use the bump because the bump strength corresponded well to the reflection strength. Okay, and so now on the white part I'm going to be more reflected than on the gray part, and this will probably give a better result. It's in the detail, you know, but no, the environment map is less reflected on the rusty parts of the armor. And if I'm not satisfied with the overall color of it, sorry, I go in the ambient and put it in order to increase the color contrast. Raise the ambient in terms of color here to keep a maximum of color contrast on the map, and decrease a little bit here. And for the diffuse, I'm gonna do the same. I raise the color of the diffuse and decrease the strength of it to keep the same energy out of it, but in a higher color contrast. And I'm gonna apply this to all. Oh, I forgot the tile. Okay, so I undo. Okay, I forgot the tile. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's not a problem. So white and lower, and white and lower. Okay, same. Maybe it's too low. Oh, okay, let's keep it on there. And what I have done, and white and lower too, and same for diffuse. Okay, this is white and lower. Maybe there's one of them. Okay, this one I had forgotten. Okay, I can just do a copy and paste, because it's going to copy and paste my tile settings, which I've made for this. So I've got to remake. Okay. And this is an armor, you know, with displacement and rust. And this only by applying the presets and then just copying and paste the useful maps. Maybe you can find it too neutral gray. So if it's too neutral gray, you can load some of the color presets in there, and you have, for example, a warm base, which will apply warm color on diffuse and ambience. Because we tend to produce two desaturated, two gray-white metals. So you can use much other colors. It's a little bit too much saturated, so I go to our 20 saturation, and here I go for 20 saturation, because it was too. Okay, it was really too yellow. Okay, this can constitute the base of your armor. Okay, you can browse in the full presets if you have some patterns that you prefer, but it's just using patterns, you see, that exist, and you're allowed to redistribute them, of course. And what are we going to do? Oh, from back I had not seen. Maybe it's not the right tile here. And from backwards, there is much less light coming from backwards. Okay, and it's visible there. And but you have a very large rust on the back. Okay, it's a very old knight wearing that, and he has fought on a lot of battlefields. Okay, let's go for the rest. So now what you can do is to have a look if you don't have a preference in terms of reflections. So we have used a Metal 2, and we can select all of it and try different reflection presets. All the first ones are isotropic, and then begins the anisotropics, and finally you will find the deformations. So this one will provide a very tiny highlights, and you see this because it's present very small sizes in terms of highlights, and you see for your application it is much too small. So we are going for something larger, okay, which is finally the default of it, and this gives this kind of reflections. And we can go for something more large. Okay, and now this is more spread on the surface. What you can do is when you set up very large highlights above 0.4, you have to force this because otherwise the specular, the total power of the specular is too much diluted, spread, and diminished over the surface. So you can go for the large highlights, and this is not strong enough. I want something stronger. I try to find. Okay, the highlights. Okay, the highlights are really too large for this shape. So okay, we have very large highlights here, but I guess that's not the effects that we want for this one. So we reduce this. The job was already made before, but it's just to see if you don't find something that you prefer. You prefer regarding your initial settings. Not that you have set up your color. I'm just going to reduce them a little bit and diminish this. Okay, make a render from far. Okay, I like it this way, and I want now that it's this way to add some reflection, some fake reflection out of it. You can have anisotropic highlights this direction or the other direction, okay, just to show you what it gives. Okay, now the highlights tend to change its shape on the horizontal plane, to be more horizontal, okay, and if you go for this one, it will tend to be more vertical. It may be interesting. It will tend to you see. I'm going to compare in the render editor. It's gonna be easier to see. Okay, render editor, and just compare the two last one. Yes and yes, full screen, toggle mode, and 13 and 14. You see? Your highlights tend to be horizontal, your highlights tend to be vertical. Depending on the shape of your object, it can be interesting to use these anisotropic highlights, okay? And of course, you can reduce the anisotropy factor when you try to... You totally delete the anisotropy factor when these two ones are equal, okay? And you increase strongly the anisotropy this way, okay? And if you drive down both your components, you keep your anisotropy, but the highlights are smaller. Okay, I don't know. I think it was 36 or something like that. I'm gonna keep something isotropic, and I want to change my reflection conditions. In order to change your reflection conditions, you should go here in reflection mirror metals. Actually, reflection rough metals drive your highlight shape and does not change anything in the environment map reflection, something, things like that. And reflection mirror metals, they do change a lot of things. They do change the highlight shape, they do change the strength of the reflection map. Let's have a look at the strength of these maps, of these parameters. Okay, and so they change a lot of things, and they are not dedicated to be made. Actually, you can load one of the presets. It's easier at the beginning in order to see which kind of mix will be the closest to what you want to have. What I'm doing now is manual tuning of the reflection, okay? So I'm gonna take everything, and in reflection you have something called set more reflective. Okay, set more reflective. It's at 31.3%, and you have something else called increase ray trace contribution. What I want to have is something that will reflect the environment and yet keep enough energy when there is no environment around, and give the impression that there is one around. So this is once again a balance to reach. I'm going to load, okay, the famous dimension theory ref map resource as an environment, and which one I'm going to choose with a blue sky, okay. And this is a phantom one, and if we make a preliminary render, we don't see the environment in it. Why? It's because we have no ray trace contribution on. So for this, I'm going to put half the ray trace contribution, half of the maximum ray trace contribution, okay? And here I begin to see the sky, okay? And maybe there is not enough ray tracing. I'm gonna have a look at some other angles, because sometimes the map and the object are rotated so that it's not well seen. Okay, and I have two strong highlights. Maybe I've come back to an older scene. So let's have a look at large. Highlight large. I'm going to reduce a little bit the strength of the highlights. Okay, and save. And come back to the ray contribution. Still want to increase the ray trace contribution. Let's try 100%. To have a look at what it's giving. Oh, the famous artifacts, they are here. Okay, you see these little, very little dots. What's happening is now ray trace is so strong that some of the rays have a color higher than 1, okay? And this is a problem. So the thing is that now ray trace contribution is too strong and you have to decrease. That's the way you see ray trace contribution is too strong. Yeah, you see here better these color dots. It's a good indicator that you have to decrease it. You went too far. So let's go to 75%. And see if it's better. It is better. We have the sun. I guess we have the sun in front of us with this map. It's the impression that I have. Okay, no, we don't have the artifacts anymore. So this is good, and I'm going to have a look just at this one here. Okay, the map here is not that strong. Set more reflective is too strong too. Okay, because the ray trace contribution is multiplied by set more reflective, and if you go too high for these two values, then you will necessarily go above maximum colors. So I'm going to decrease this to 10%, for instance, and I'm going to do the same for everybody. Set more reflective at 10. And do we see the environment? We see the environment, okay, and we see the sunset. I think it may be a sunset on this map. I don't know. It looks like a sunset actually. And no, I won't cancel the render. And okay, we see the reflecting environment. Now what's happening if we switch off the ref dome? And so we have just infinite lights. Is it still okay? It's because we have lights also from front. Everything is coming from the same direction. This is why it's so strong from front. Okay, and so no, I would say it's not reflective enough. It's not metallic enough when the ray traced environments are on. So I'm going to decrease the ray contribution. Okay, and I'm going to increase the base map 2. Okay, with a space. Okay, I'm going to increase the map 2, but map 2 is your constant map reflection regardless of the ray trace contribution, and map 1 is decreasing with ray trace contribution. It's explained in another presentation. I cannot re-explain it all the time, but it's in another presentation. So I increase a little bit the mapped environment out of map 2 and compare 26 and 27 to see the difference. You see the difference? It's much more metallic. And this is just a matter of mapped reflection. Maybe we could reduce a little bit the map eventually. We'd reduce a little bit the map. Let's take everything. Map 2. Let's reduce it a bit. No, not the color, maybe just the strength of it. 82, 65. Okay, 65, it's still metallic. Maybe we can have a look at how it looks like when we set the environment back. Okay, we see the reflection on of the environment. Here, the blue part. Well, I think we are not far from the final balance. I would reduce maybe the highlights just a little bit, but this could be okay. Let's have a look at what's happening from behind, where I have much less lights, okay? So I almost have no lights from behind, and yet I still have the reflection of the map on the armor. So this is a fine balance of all the components for this case of figure. Maybe we can have a look at what's happening in other kind of lights in order to check that it's okay for any lights. So it's in the content library, shade lights presets. This is these ones that are very widely used. Okay, so you have an infinite light and dome, another environment around it, and let's make a little render. So this is pretty okay on this distance. If I go closer, okay, it's enough. You won't have something perfect for all lighting conditions, and which is easy to reach with clothes and easy materials is not easy to reach with metal only. Okay, but this is sufficient. This is not enough on the back, but I think you won't be able to cover exactly all the situation. Okay, if you want to be okay on the part, you just have to decrease ray trace and increase reflection. So nothing prevents you from making one preset with for one light and one preset for another type of light. If I take this light, this must be distant, large scale or distance. I think it's distant lights that I want. I take this and I have to remove this one. I just have an ambient of a distance, but this time it's edge of armor light. Okay, maybe I'm a little warm. It's the lights which give the colors, but it can give the illusion of a metal. And from backwards, there'll probably just be ambient. Okay, it's enough from backwards. And if I test what kind of other lights, the new lights of Dreamlight, I'm gonna remove not this one. I'm gonna remove these two from scene and take Dreamlight. So what do we have? We're gonna go for preset immediately. Pin up. I don't remember how it works. I've used them once. I think I have to give this and this and this. I'm gonna take the 3 green, the 3. Okay, it's making 3 area lights around the armor. Maybe there will be too much light, I don't know. No, it's okay. They are reflecting on the armor, but regarding the level of power, this is almost okay. What other kind of lights do we have? I think it's approximately everything that we need. So it's a good compromise between all lighting situations, okay? And now I want to speak about this thing, opacity, and then it would be over, I guess. So this opacity thing, I gotta make a close-up on it. And go for fast lights, okay, because these ones are not fast enough for a tutorial. Okay, load just the test lights. How many times have I loaded them? Once only. Okay, I'm gonna go for this armor chain. I don't know the name. It's maybe it's not obvious there, but actually what happened is that if I use set more reflective, if I use set more reflective too high, the holes actually are going to be filled by reflected light. It's just, you know, you have this famous parameter multiply specular through opacity, and I've created some patches which are actually, I'm gonna hide this thing because it's actually something like multiply reflection by opacity that I've made, and this is made in a patch. I want to hide this, okay, so that I see exactly only the part I'm interested in. For this I can show you immediately on reflection. I'm gonna make a strong set more reflective. Okay, this is too strong, you shouldn't have to go that far. Okay, and now that you have a strong more reflective, it looks very strange. Okay, because first it is too reflective, but the thing is that the holes are filled with reflections, and this is not okay for what you need. So normally you shouldn't have to go so high in set more reflective, but if you have this kind of problem, you go in opacity management. You know that you're using a Metal 2, so you're double clicking on a patch for Metal 2. I hope it has taken it. And now if you render your blue, okay, I'm gonna have a look at what is happening. Opacity strength, okay, is now driven by a dial. I am totally black in the middle, yes. I want to see these little holes, and they shouldn't be filled by lights. Let's reapply this. Whoa, my patch is not patching anymore. Oh no, it's patching, but it's because we have this really strong. Okay, it's working. Oh, I was afraid. I spent a lot of time on it. Okay, it's working. The thing is that we have now the reflections that are so strong here on the blue that's from far it's giving a strange impression. I'm gonna take to show you, to be sure that I am totally transparent. I'm gonna take a black background. Okay, so now everything that presents transparency should be rendered on black, and I'm gonna change the reflection map for something more dark, and it's neutral. It's not the term. I don't want the blue sky anymore. It's the summary. I don't want the blue sky anymore. Okay, and you see this is totally transparent, and the effect we had just before, it's because we are so reflective that we overglow, and it gives the impression that we are blue everywhere. But now if I, for instance, I keep these settings and I come back to something which is not patched, I think it's gonna keep all my settings. I haven't tried this for a while. I'm coming back to Metal 2 with no patch. Okay, and a Metal 2 with no patch. Here you're not black at all. Here you have lost your transparency map. Oh no, you have it. Okay, you have it, but you are filled with reflection. You are filled with reflection where you should not be filled with reflection. So for this, you go. I've lost some of the settings, but you go in opacity management and double click on that, and now you can re-render. and your opacity, your transparent holes are not anymore filled with reflections. Okay, that's why there is this thing, opacity management. Okay, it's for the cases where you want to go too high in set more reflective, and yet you want to have transparent holes, meaning that you want to multiply the reflection through opacity. In order to finish, just talk a little bit about robots. This is a mech dragon, so this is almost a robot. The thing is that I want to show you here is that you can apply your material, your presets, by selecting very easily things that share the same maps and things like that. For instance, you're going to select your surfaces with map, and now you choose everybody who is sharing the same diffuse color or bump strength or displacement strength. Okay, so I take everything sharing the same diffuse color map, and I can apply a preset. I'm going to change for metal 1 this time, and I want to apply to this preset, for instance. Okay, and now I go for everything with this color map. Okay, and I can apply this one, and I go for everything with the black parts. So if it's supposed to be black, I'm gonna have to load a dark preset. What's my dark? I have no really dark. Why not for gold, finally? Okay, it's just live, it's just a testing like that. And now let's make a first render of it. And this is this is metallic, but the highlights are not strong enough, I find. I'd like something darker. Here. Okay. So I select all the surfaces with this color map now, and I go in the color presets with this base and this reflection. Just make. I want also some stronger. I thought of some stronger specular. I'm gonna have a look at the specular strength and put it at 100%. And now regarding the spread of it, I want to have less spread, and the glossiness just this way, and a new render. Okay, this is another kind of metallic look, and I'd like to let's say the yellow to be more yellow and the gray to be darker. So I just select all the gray parts. Okay, dark gray is this one with this reflection here, or why no? I'm gonna keep something pretty coherent. I'm gonna increase the glossiness, reduce the spread probably, because now the spread is good, and this is just for shaping the highlights. I'm gonna have a look at the specular strength and set it at max. I think I wanted something more dark. I haven't selected the right surfaces. Let's have a look. Is it this one? I'll undo if I have. No, it's this one. Is it dark enough? See, it was the right one. It's not dark enough regarding the result that I'd like to reach. So if it's not dark enough, I reselect all the surfaces, and I'm gonna have a look at the ambient. Okay, a darker ambient, smaller, and I'm gonna have a look at the diffuse. Okay, reducing the diffuse, and I want to have a look at the reflections, because there are some color components in the reflection maps. They are not that high. I won't change them. Maybe I could set them a little bit more reflective. Okay, I can do it this way, or I can just increase my map strength, because here I'm not at maximum, so I don't have to do things like that. And I told that I wanted the yellow to be more yellow. Okay, so I can go for strong color presets. Which kind? Which is yellow green, yellow base, just a yellow base. And the yellow reflection, is it more yellow or not? Okay, this is more yellow, definitely. And this is a new dragon. I'm not okay with the kind of reflections I have here and here. So I am going to embed to enhance these reflections. I'm going to enhance the reflections for something more white, or more, yes, more white. And I want to increase the highlights. It's not highlighted enough, so I'm gonna increase I'm gonna focus them a little bit. I'm going to focus them a little bit, okay? So they are more focused. And regarding the strength, I could increase the strength of them. I can even remove the map completely. Let's have a look and set it at max. Don't want any color components. Okay, I like these white highlights here. It's a matter of taste, okay? It does not present the same balance as the other ones. Here, the yellow is too not saturated enough. So, okay, this is all armor 1, I guess. So reduce ambient, darken it a little bit, same for diffuse, or even let's increase a little bit. No, let's keep it around that. What other color do I have? Opacity, you don't change opacity. Maybe reduce a little bit the reflection, and the speaker, keep the speaker as high as possible. Okay, this is much more what I had in my head. And well, that's it. Just by applying 2 or 3 presets and changing the colors of them, you have different things. It's very rapidly made, you know. Now maybe we could add some defects on it. So we're going to load some displacements. The most neutral is this one, and this one too. I'm gonna load this one and have a look at the displacement in it. Okay, it's texture related, material related, okay. And render, it should be a little bit noisy. I don't know if it's noisy enough. Now the scale is not the right one. I'm going to increase this a lot. Material related displacement, 100%, and change the minimum and maximum to something a little bit stronger. The thing is, it has to look fine from close too. Okay, now you see these little displacement features. Okay, here these little points on the surface, and I can load a totally different surface for this one. This presents also stripes, scratches. Okay, I'm not optimizing anything. I'm just trying to put the base settings, and the optimization is a next step for it. So this is not strong enough. This is not strong enough. Because I haven't increased the right one. Let's load this clearly. I'm in armor 3. It's this displacement. Increase this. Since it's a big, I tend to increase this because it's a big animal. I would say an animal. So I need to have displacements larger. It tends to scale my displacements. Okay. And okay, now you see some additional defects here. Some little parts which are a little bit damaged. Okay, and we can take, for instance, here some thing really damaged. Okay, with maybe a stronger tile or 2, maybe enough, and strength. The strength, okay, is okay. Maybe I will have the same problem with the min and max of displacements. So do I see my my new details? Not enough. I see them a little bit here too, but they are not strong enough. So I'm gonna increase my min and max, maximum and minimum. Okay. It's very rough settings. Okay. It's nothing is optimized. It's just to show the principle. Okay, now the armor is damaged here, here, and here, and here on the neck, and here on the I don't know the name of this part of an animal. And if you feel that the tile is not the right one, you can increase the tile of it, just to see. And of course you can offset them to place them the way where you want to place them. Okay, and this is another type of dragon, and I'm lucky because here I have some defects that I didn't expect, but they are well placed, and I have also some defects there and there. And with a tile of 4, it is nicer. So that's all. That's a rapid setup, which with these shaders, and just with some of the full presets, you know. Then you change the colors and you add some displacements, and it gives a totally different make dragon from what you had from what you had before. And this is the final render of it, not optimized. Okay, it's just rapidly load colors and rapidly load maps and very, very rapid settings. Okay, everything can be optimized there. So, well, that's all for this armor and robots. This is almost an armor on the dragon. Armor and robots presentations. That's all. Have a nice day. Bye bye.